Welcome to Dark Hours FM. If you'd like to help keep these stories alive, you can tip by buying me a coffee or unlock more hauntings over on Patreon. All the links are in the description. Tonight's story, Under the Floorboards. Let's begin. I never saw the loose plank when I moved in. I should have. The place was empty enough to notice everything. The water stain blooming like an old bruise on the ceiling above the bed. The hairline crack crawling down the bathroom mirror like a vein. The old radiator under the window, its paint blistered and flaking, rattling like bones when it heats up at night. I saw all of that dash, but not the plank under my feet. Not the one that mattered. The landlord didn't mention it either. He barely spoke at all. Just stood on the front porch, pressed the key into my palm, and tapped the door frame twice with his knuckles before he turned away. I asked if he wanted to come in, maybe check the meter, show me where the fuse box was. He just said, "If you hear anything at night, it's just the pipes. Old house." Then he walked down the steps and didn't look back. Pipes. Sure. The first night was normal enough. I unrolled my sleeping bag right in the middle of the living room floor. No furniture yet, just me and the echo of my footsteps bouncing off bare walls. The fridge hummed in the kitchen. The radiator knocked once or twice as it warmed the room. The window panes rattled a little when the wind picked up. Old house sounds. The kind you learn to ignore. I drifted off, staring at the ceiling stain. The streetlight outside painted a rectangle of pale orange on the wall, the only thing that kept the dark from swallowing me whole. I woke once, just before dawn. The silence pressed so close, it felt like someone else was holding their breath next to me. I told myself it was the pipes cooling off, and I believed it that first night. By the second night, I dragged in a mattress I found cheap from a student 2 blocks away. No bed frame, just the mattress on the old wood floor. I dropped it right where the sleeping bag had been. I remember the floor creaked when I pressed it down, but I didn't think twice. I fell asleep quicker that night. The radiator rattling softly, like it was whispering in another room. I woke around 3, my mouth dry, the streetlight strip gone from the wall, clouds covering it outside. At first, I thought it was the pipes again, but this wasn't a hiss or a knock. It was sharper, a tiny, dragging sound right under my spine. I lifted my head, held my breath. There it was again, like a fingernail tracing along the underside of a wooden table. Slow, dry, careful. Scratch, scratch. I pressed my palm flat on the mattress, feeling for the vibration, but the wood stayed still. I told myself rat, just a rat. Old houses have rats. But I didn't move. I lay there, waiting for it to stop. And it did, after a minute. Or maybe it didn't. Maybe I just fell back asleep pretending I couldn't hear it. Next morning, I pushed the mattress aside. The floor under it was bare except for dust and a pale circle where the wood was cleaner than the rest. One plank near the wall didn't lie flat. Just a sliver lifted up at one edge, enough to catch the toe of my sock when I pressed it down. When I leaned close, I swear I felt a draft of cold air slip up past my cheek, like the floor was breathing out. I tried not to think about it. I left the mattress where it was and stayed out late that night, anything to be too tired to care. I dropped onto the mattress just after midnight, still wearing my jeans keys and phone in my pocket, like I was ready to leave. I closed my eyes, told myself not to listen. It came back just after 3. I felt it before I heard it. The faintest vibration through the floorboards, into the bones of my back. Then the sound, a tiny scrape, then a pause, then another. Scratch, pause, scratch, scratch, scratch. It wasn't random. It felt like someone under the house was spelling something out, but too slow to understand. I turned my head, pressed my ear flat against the mattress. The sound was clearer. Dry nails against dry wood. And underneath it, something else, breathing, low, steady, like someone whispering just under my heartbeat. I sat up too fast and hit the shelf above the bed. The thud echoed like a warning. I grabbed my phone, turned on the flashlight. The room was empty, walls bare, corners dark, the plank still out of place near the wall. I should have left it alone, should have called the landlord again, demanded to know who or what was under my floor. Instead, I got down on my knees and pressed my ear to the plank. I knocked 3 soft raps with my knuckle. The scratching stopped. Silence so deep I thought I'd gone deaf. Then 4 tiny knocks came back right under my hand. I jerked back, fell onto the mattress, phone clattering to the floor. I didn't sleep in that room again. I dragged the mattress into the living room, but when I lay down, I could still feel it. A soft tickle under my ribs, like the scratching had moved with me. By dawn, I knew I couldn't pretend anymore. I found my hammer, a flathead screwdriver, sat cross-legged on the bedroom floor, and wedged the blade under the lifted plank. The wood splintered easy, old nails giving way like baby teeth. A cold draft blew across my face as the board popped loose. Beneath it, packed dirt, damp, dark, the smell of old leaves and mildew. Something pale stuck out of the dirt, wrapped tight in yellowed cloth. I pulled at it. The fabric came away like peeling wallpaper. Underneath, porcelain, cracked. A doll's face, mouth frozen in a half-smile. And hair, real hair, black and stiff, tangled with dirt. I dropped it so fast, I almost knocked the lamp off the dresser. The plank slipped from my hands, slammed back into place like something underneath had yanked it shut. Then the scratching started again, louder this time. Not under the plank, but at the baseboards, the walls, the ceiling above my head. Tap, scratch, tap, tap, tap. I ran for the door, but the deadbolt stuck halfway. I shoved my shoulder against it, felt something heavy press back from the other side. It took 3 kicks before the door gave way. Cold night air slapped my face as I stumbled out onto the porch, barefoot, keys rattling in my pocket. I didn't lock the door. I didn't pack a bag. I left the light on in the hallway so I wouldn't have to see the dark behind me. I sleep in my car now, 3 streets over, engine off, windows cracked. I tell myself I'll find another place tomorrow. Tomorrow turns into tomorrow again. When I close my eyes, I still hear it. The tiny scratch under my shoulder blades, the tap behind my teeth when I grit them in the dark. If you find the loose plank near the wall under the old radiator, leave it shut. If you hear a knocking, don't answer. Old houses keep their secrets, and sometimes they want out. Thanks for joining us in the dark. Some stories fade with the light, others stay with you. We'll see you next time, if you make it.